Hold on. If you guys want to come a little bit closer, thank you. Yeah, go for it. Thanks, everyone. You're good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got it. Okay. Thank you. Yep.
Use more of that tape. Use the tape. Yep, there we go. Never mind, I got it. That's okay.
Bruce.
Hi, everyone. Is this on? Can you hear me? No. Can you hear me now? Okay, awesome. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jess Lott. I've been a nurse for 22 years here in Pittsburgh, and I'm a proud member of SEIU Healthcare Pennsylvania. Thank you for coming out in the cold. And you'll have to bear with me a little bit because my nose is running, but I appreciate everyone coming. Tonight, you will be hearing from some amazing people in our community. And I was asked to start that off by saying a few words about Alex Pretti. It feels like such a big task. How do you honor the life of someone you've never had the chance to meet? I didn't know Alex personally, but like many of you, I have come to understand him through the stories that people have shared. I listened to the physician he worked with describe his dedication to research and how at 32 years old, he chose a new path in nursing so that he could care for veterans in the intensive care unit. I read about a moment in a patient's room where a female physician was spoken to with misogyny and disrespect. Alex did not escalate. He did not embarrass the man. He simply and calmly said, "Why would you say that to your doctor? That's wrong and inappropriate. Please respect her." We heard from students who spoke about how much he loved to teach, how excited he was to show them something new, how his passion for nursing came through, and how it was something he loved to share with new nurses just starting out. Then there was the letter from his parents. You could feel their. Am I doing something wrong with it? You could feel the heartbreak in every word, the grief of losing a son they loved beyond measure, and the grief of knowing the weight of this loss for a community and for a country. In many ways, he was the best of us, and it led me to reflect on something very personal. How would I want to be remembered? How would I want people who never met me to know about me? I hope that they would say that I was kind, that I tried to be helpful, that I made people laugh. But I would also hope that they would remember the good trouble that I caused. The advocacy for nurses' rights, the times I stood up for my community, how I felt that being polite sometimes does nothing to disrupt a broken system, how I took to heart the bumper sticker added that well-behaved women rarely make history. Some of the parts were messy and imperfect, but that's what makes us human. And I think that's what made Alex human. I saw footage of Alex spitting toward a border control guard and kicking a taillight 11 days before he was murdered. Some have pointed to that and said, there, that defines him. But I think Alex would want that as part of his story. I think it speaks to his conviction and of the anger we all feel right now toward the injustice. If we remember him as infallible, it undercuts the message I think he would want us to take away. If we only honor people when they are flawless, we overlook the very people who are doing the hard and perfect work of justice and care. The death of a straight, white, gun-owning man who devoted his life to caring for veterans shouldn't be the point in which we decide something is wrong. That line should have been drawn long before that. That line should protect every life, not just the ones that feel familiar. In the last day of 2025 and the first 31 days of this new year, 9 people died in their interactions with ICE and CBP. I'd like to say their names. Keith Porter Jr., Luis Gustavo Nunez Caceres, Geraldo Lunes Campos, Victor Manuel Diaz, Parity Law, Renee Nicole Good, Luis Beltran Yanez Cruz, Eber Sanchez Dominguez, and Alex Pretti. They didn't all make headlines, and yet they were our neighbors. There's a video of Alex reading a final salute to a veteran who passed away in the ICU where he worked. I'd like to end with his words, because I think they reflect the values that he lived by. Today, we remember that freedom is not free. We have to work at it, nature it, protect it, and even sacrifice for it. May we never forget and always remember our brothers and sisters who served so that we may enjoy the gift of freedom. In this moment, we remember and give thanks to the dedication and selfless service to our nation and the cause of freedom. In this solid hour, we render our honor and gratitude. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts, and I'd like to now welcome Reverend Carrie Charlton in leading a prayer honoring Alex.
Hello, neighbors. Let's get a little closer. I've been instructed to bring everyone forward. Thank you. We will kind of come around the side. Well, if there was ever a place to greet our neighbors, it's here in front of Mr. Rogers, the person who taught us that neighbors are all around us. For Mr. Rogers, a neighbor is a person that we might meet at any given day. A neighbor is so much more than simply someone that you cross paths with. Neighbor is a moral term. And when Mr. Rogers asked us to be his neighbor, he said, I've always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. And when he said this, we felt special, valued, and wanted. In Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, every person is worthy of dignity and love. Every neighbor is unique. Each of us is allowed to come exactly as we are, with our gifts and talents, with our needs and our fears. And together, we are co-creating this beautiful world. But sometimes our world isn't beautiful. And I think this ugliness comes from when we forget that we are neighbors. There's a story in my faith tradition about someone asking Jesus, who is my neighbor? And like any rabbi or pastor or faith leader I know, Jesus answered that question with a long story and more questions. I'm going to try to be brief. He told the story that involved a man who had been robbed and beaten and left lying beside the road. Jesus described how people walked by and pretended not to see him. And when someone did see him, he crossed to the other side to avoid him. And then finally, someone came and helped the man, bandaged his wounds, and took him to someone else who would care for him until he was well. And after Jesus finished the story, he asked, who is this man's neighbor? And of course, the answer is the one who showed mercy, the one who helped. Mr. Rogers knew this story too. And I think it's the reason he told us to look for the helpers. As children, we look to the helpers to give us hope. Hope that no matter what, our neighbors would take care of us. And as adults, we have become those helpers, the neighbors who do the right thing, the people who help when someone needs help. And we do not ask which neighborhood they belong to, because we know there is only one neighborhood. Alex Pretti was a professional nurse, a helper, and a good neighbor. His murder is shocking because we know he was there to help. We know that nurses and healthcare professionals will step in to help a neighbor who is hurting and scared. We also know that nurses and healthcare professionals are treated badly. And I want to give you just one more wisdom teaching from Mr. Rogers. And that is, if it's mentionable, it is manageable. He was talking to kids who were having big feelings when he said this, and trying to get them to find a safe adult who could help them. And what I would advise you as we're gathered here today is that you can create that safe space with your neighbors and friends, and you can take care of one another, to give care and to receive it. So check in with yourself and with your support system. Gather as a union and create a work environment that supports you and your patients. And together, we can create a beautiful neighborhood. And I am so glad to have neighbors just like you. Neighbors, would you join me in a posture of prayer or meditation or a moment of silent reflection, whatever supports you in this moment? Let's take this time together to remember the people who taught us how to be good neighbors and who inspired us to be helpers. So gather those memories up, all of that love and support, because you're going to need it for the work that we will continue to do together. Amen. Thank you, Carrie. Next, we're going to welcome Monica Ruiz she's the executive director from Casa San Jose. We are going to take 20 seconds in between those, just for a moment of silence.
I don't need to adjust this. Look at that. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here today. It is so cold. And I thought about coming here all day today. And I thought, oh my gosh, are people really going to come? Is this really going to happen? I didn't care. I wanted to be here because I knew that people would come. And as I look out into the crowd and to see so many people that I know that have been along our side for years, and people that just don't show up and say, hey, what do you need? Call me when you need something. There's people that say, I'm here now. Tell me what to do right now. I want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up for me, for Casa San Jose, and for the community that we are working so hard to protect every day. I want to share with you, my boogers are also running, sorry. I want to share with you all the work that we're doing at Casa and what we see every day. ICE isn't just in big cities. ICE is here in Pittsburgh. I had the emergency phone today and it rang 7 times. 7 times that ICE was spotted. Every day, a dad doesn't come home from work to his family. Every day. Every day, a parent isn't there to pick up their child from school. Many times it's the mom. And the most recent heartbreaking story was a little girl that was planning her quinceañera, who was now looking for a dama because her dama got deported. This is happening here. And until we can come together to change what has happened to all of the people that I mentioned, and for what's happening to people like Alex, because he's not the first to be injured, and he won't be the last. We have a high rate of aging individuals in Allegheny County. A lot of the people that we serve at Casa take care of them. They're home health aides. They're certified caregivers. And they're afraid to go to work. They're afraid to go take care of the people that we love because of fear of getting pulled over, detained, and deported. Because they will be the mom that can't pick up their child. We have people who are afraid to go to the hospital to get the care that they need. I had a client who was scheduled for brain surgery and couldn't go because the day before her husband got picked up by ICE. I have a mom who needs cancer treatment that will not go because she can't drive home and she's afraid to ask her husband to drive her home. She's more afraid of dying. No, I'm sorry. She's not more afraid of dying. She's more afraid of what would happen to her family if ICE picked them up than dying. So please, this is the reality that we live in. This is not the neighborhood that Mr. Rogers envisioned. I know all of you have a different vision, and I want that. I want to live in the world that you all have in your minds. And that world is only going to exist if we step up and we do something. Whether you want to volunteer for a nonprofit organization that's helping immigrants or refugees, or you want to volunteer to do anything, but please do something. Please do something, because they're normalizing killing us in the streets, and it's not okay. And I don't want one of us to be next. Thank you.
Next up we have Jess Platt. She's a nurse at 88.
Good evening. My name is Jessica, and I am a union nurse at AGH. What I have to say goes for all healthcare workers. We are gathered here tonight to honor the life of Alex Pretti, a nurse who was murdered by ICE agents in Minneapolis. And I use that word murder intentionally, because when someone is killed for doing their job, for helping another human being, that is not an accident. That is violence. When I first learned about Alex's death, I couldn't bring myself to watch the video. It took me several days before I could, and when I finally did, after seeing the moments that led up to his death, I was devastated. I kept saying to myself, he did nothing wrong.
Right.
The reality is heartbreaking in its simplicity. Alex helped someone. He stepped in when another person was being carelessly thrown around, and he chose compassion. Alex did what any nurse would have done and what any human being should do. And for that, he was killed. Nursing is not just a profession, it's a calling.
Yes.
When nurses meet one another, there is an unspoken bond, because being a nurse is part of who we are. We know the sacrifices. We know the emotional and physical toll. Every day, nurses and healthcare workers work in a high-stress, high-stakes environment. We give everything we have, emotionally, physically, mentally, to care for others. And we put ourselves last. Alex did exactly that until his very last breath. And this is why nurses and healthcare workers across the country are uniting and saying clearly, this is not acceptable. We do not want ICE agents in our hospitals.
No.
We don't want them in our cities.
No.
And we certainly do not want a system that treats compassion as a crime.
No.
Healthcare workers should not have to fear for their lives while caring for others, and patients should never have to fear for their lives when they come to us for help. We are healers, we bring comfort, we bring dignity, and we will continue to do so, but we refuse to do it in silence. We will not accept a fellow nurse being gunned down in the street. We will not accept a physician being denied the chance to provide first aid as a mother of 3 is dying from ICE bullets. Let me say this plainly. When a nurse is killed for showing humanity, the problem is not the nurse, it's the system.
All right.
I also want to acknowledge everyone who showed up tonight. The mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, daughters, and sons. Your presence matters, and you give me hope in these painful and uncertain times. And you remind me that I'm not alone. Look around, we're not alone. It's people like you, people who believe in justice, fairness, equality, and democracy, who represent the very core of what our American principles are supposed to be. And it's those values that will carry us forward. We will not let justice and democracy be ripped away from us.
All right.
We are stronger when we are united. We are louder when we stand together.
All right.
And we must not allow those who have lost their lives in this fight to have died in vain. I speak to those sitting in detention centers tonight, scared, isolated, and unheard. Know this, you are not alone. We see you, we are here, and we will continue to show up. I want to leave you with a quote from Desmond Tutu. Hope is being able to see that there is a light despite all of the darkness. Tonight, we choose to be the light. Thank you.
All right. Woo!
Thanks, Jess. Next, we're going to have Francis Adams, a home care worker in Pittsburgh.
Hello, my union, community, and family. My name is Francis Adams. I'm a longtime home care worker and proud member of SEIU Healthcare of Pennsylvania from Washington County. I care for a client with MS who is paralyzed. So the killing of Alex Pretti really hit home for me because he took care of other people in need. That's what home care workers do for seniors and people with disabilities every day. The movement reminds me of another time in our history when innocent people were murdered in a struggle for freedom. The federal government has been taking down this history in our states and all over our community. So I'm going to raise it up.
Yes. All right.
In 1964, there were 1964 were killed in 1964 in Mississippi. There was people trying to register people to vote. They were killed. In 1970, 4 college kids were killed for protesting at Kent State in Ohio. The fact that some of those were killed were white contributed to the turning point in the fight for freedom. People of color and immigrants have been brutalized for hundreds of years. And Alex killing shows that those in power don't care if you're black, white, brown. If you stand in their way, they'll take you down. Alex killing shows that we are all in this together, no matter the color of our skin or where we're from. Before I was a home care worker, I was a member of the United States Steelworkers Union for 20 years. When you're union members and you fight together with your fellow union members, you realize we are all share the same hopes. We all follow what we want in life with dignity, take care of our families, and have the freedom to make our voices heard. When the Trump administration started deporting people, they said they were only going to, they were only going after, quote, the worst of the worst. But now, the vast majority of those they are deporting have no criminal records. They are deporting documented immigrants, children, U.S. citizens. They are tearing kids from their arms of their mothers and their fathers. Most immigrants who came here to our community are hardworking people striving for America's dream. I see that my fellow home care workers, they help take care of our mothers, fathers, grandfathers. Immigrants are doctors, healthcare workers, engineers. They help serve our food and build our houses. Immigrants are Americans.
Right. Yes. Right.
Finally, I want to say that, that my home care client relies on Medicare for these. You rely at the same time that they are proposing hundreds of millions of additional dollars for ICE. The Trump administration just cut $1 trillion for Medicaid. That's, that is our health care that we need. Everyone in our state, we don't need health care cuts and war on our community. We need quality health care for all.
Yes. Right.
So we can't back down. We have to ramp up, unite together, and move forward. Let this shameful killing be a turning point for change.
All right.
Next up, we have Jen Davison. She's a practitioner at McGee.
Hello. Thanks everyone for coming. My name is Jen Davison. Like she said, I'm a nurse practitioner at McGee Women's Hospital, and I've been in healthcare for 20 years. We're all here today to honor the life of Alex Pretti, one of the lives that was senselessly ended by the unchecked brutality of ICE agents. Many of us here are healthcare workers like Alex. We chose this career and path because we wanted a career that makes a tangible and meaningful difference in people's lives. We understand what Alex was doing when he was murdered, that even when not at work, he was helping someone in need. This unconditional desire to help those in need runs deep for many of us here today. I have countless examples of doing the same thing, though in much less terrorizing circumstances. That ICE is terrorizing our streets, killing and injuring innocent people in our country is despicable and heartbreaking to watch. Though our city has not been invaded like Minneapolis, ICE threat is still present in our city, and I'm sure many of us are witnessing it. I know for one, I've seen fear among patients of mine. So I work in palliative care, and my patients have serious life-limiting illnesses with pain and other symptoms. And I work to make their lives less painful and more enjoyable so they have a better quality of life. I recently had a patient who was nearing the end of life and who had severe cancer-related pain. She was so afraid to come to the hospital and suffered at home for days because she was a Mexican woman who had legally immigrated to the US years ago. Thankfully, her family finally convinced her to come to the hospital for the care that she needed, but it took her days of suffering at home. We thankfully were able to get her pain under control and sent her home to die a dignified death. No one should be afraid to seek the care that they need. This is just one example of how ICE and the Trump administration are taking people's basic right to health care away from them. We must stand up and stand together to protect this right. We must ask our hospitals, our clinics, nursing homes, and other healthcare organizations to speak up, committing to safe, protected places where anyone can come to receive care. We must not let this brutality and administration ruin the values and compassion of our work or allow them to devalue any life. We all must stand together and ask for our government, federal and state, to do better and be better and treating humans with dignity, respect, and the equality they deserve. Thank you.
All right.
And next up, we have Teresa Brown, a nurse at 88. I'm a nurse and a writer. Actually, I'm a New York Times bestselling writer about healthcare. And I'm also a proud new member of SEIU, which is fantastic. The killing of nurse Alex Pretti in Minneapolis made me unbearably sad. The last thing he said before being held down on the ground and shot over and over again was, "Are you okay?" When the people who only want to hurt start killing the people who only want to help, our government has lost its way. When nurses aren't safe at work, and we aren't, or on the streets, our government has lost its way. When American citizens get gunned down by federal agents, our government has lost its way. When money that could pay for health care, for Medicaid, or the Affordable Care Act pays for ICE instead, our government has lost its way.
All right.
But we, the people, we can fight against that. We can fight for justice. There are 4 million nurses in the United States, 4 million voices together. We can stand up, cry out, justice for Alex, justice for Renee, justice for everyone who's been hurt or killed by ICE. Nothing will bring these people back to life, which is terrible and tragic. And I've seen a number of patients die, and I know how final their deaths are. But in seeking justice, in fighting for it, in speaking up, it is the most important thing we can do to try to give meaning to their pointless deaths. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And now we're going to sing. Ready? Yes. Okay. Yeah, we're going to sing This Little Light of Mine, and we'd like everyone to sing with us, which would be great because I know you're cold. So I think that will help. Sure.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around the world. All around the world. I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Until we're all free. Until we're all free, I'm gonna let it shine. Until we're all free, I'm gonna let it shine. Until we're all free, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Ain't no one's gonna put it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Ain't no one's gonna put it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Ain't no one's gonna put it out. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All right.
I'm going to close. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. I want to thank all the amazing speakers. Today we honor Alex and all of those who've made sacrifice. As nurses and healthcare workers, we walk into work every day with one guiding principle. Every human life has value, no matter who they are, where they come from, or what their immigration status is. Healthcare is a human right. Children and families deserve to feel safe in their own communities.
All right.
As nurses, we are calling on our employers to take a stand to ensure our hospitals, clinics, and care settings are places where our patients can receive safe and competent care without fear.
Right.
Without this, they are asking us to work in a system that undermines the very care that we're trying to provide. Lastly, we've been pushing hard against Senator Fetterman to vote no on the Senate spending bill that expanded ICE funding. Earlier in the week, he put a statement saying that he would be voting to keep the government open without the removal of this provision. But Thursday, he changed his vote to no, and the bill failed to get the 60 votes needed to advance. The actions that we are taking can feel inconsequential sometimes, but this is proof that our calls, letters, and protests do work, and that we can't afford to slow down. Thank you to all the people who have been doing the work, and we encourage everyone here tonight to get involved. Call and write Fetterman and keep the pressure on him to stand firm against additional ICE funding. This is our call to action, big and small. Help your neighbor. Remember kindness. Participate in good trouble. Tomorrow our work continues, but tonight all of you prove that we are not doing it alone. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Beautiful day for a neighborhood.
It's a neighborly day.